Hello, sir.
How you doing?
John Paul Dejoria.
Captain Burkett.
Hi, Captain.
Welcome out to use you.
Thank you, sir.
You gonna take you for a tour around?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Fine. How'd you do it? Good to meet you.
Captain Burkett, how long have you been at this facility, sir?
Okay, I've been at the Alpha Use for possibly 17 years.
Just a few weeks ago, or a couple of weeks ago, really, I went out to California to meet this gentleman, and this gentleman, I felt like I already knew this man that I'm about to introduce you to just by his conversation. I knew that it was real. But ladies, when I walked into his office, we were so warmly received that I knew that this man was for real. I knew that he was a man of passion. I knew he was a man of respect. I knew that he was a man that believed in people that a lot of people don't believe in. And then when we had the privilege of walking into his office, an extremely, extremely busy man, but yet he made us genuinely feel welcome. And so for about, I guess, a 15, 20-minute visit, he made us feel important. And through that conversation is why that he is here this evening. It's not a mistake. It's a God-ordained plan. I know that beyond a shadow of a doubt. And I said, God, give me the scripture for this evening. Chapter 22, I believe it is. In verse 1 and 2, it talks about David, how he fled to the cave. And he looks up, and some 400 men came with him. Men that were depressed, men that were in debt, men that were just wiped out, just nothing going for them whatsoever. Many of you know the story. And in verse 2 there it says that David became their captain, their leader. And then those men, because of a captain, because they found somebody they could believe in, and that person would never abuse them or use them. But he had one goal in mind, and that was to help coach them up and make them realize, hey, you don't have to be distressed. You don't have to be in debt. You don't have to be down and out, that you can have true joy. And you see, God has always used a person or persons as captains, as leadership, to bring people out of distress and out of debt, and etc. And I believe that it is ordained that this gentleman, John Paul, is going to be a captain to many of you. And so I want you to give him your absolute very, very best. Welcome, John Paul, to the platform.
Mike, thank you, brother. Thank you. Thank you very much. Good evening. And it is a good evening. You know, no matter what you call God, no matter what your religion is, I think we all agree that God is good. And He is. He is. 21 years ago, I started John Paul Mitchell Systems. Today it's one of the largest single-line hair care companies, if not the largest, in the United States of America in the professional beauty industry. I want to share with you tonight two things. One, I'm going to teach you all how to start a business with almost no money. And most businesses, you'll be able to do it. You'll be able to spend the quality time you'll be able to have on your own to think about your future and your life while you're residents here, to perhaps think about, well, when I do go past those gates, what am I going to do with, in most cases, little to no money to be successful and make perhaps some of my dreams come true? There will be others here that will say, you know, I don't want to start my own business, but what can I do when I get out? Where can I get some money to be fully trained to maybe do something else? Before I'm done tonight, I will offer that opportunity to everybody in here. It'll be paid for you. That'll happen before the night's over, okay? We're going to look at two areas. So let me start out by telling you here a real crash course on how we started our company. Today we do over about $600 million a year at retail, so it's a very good size. We're in 43 countries. But let me go back in history and tell you what happened. I was homeless. I lived in the back of my car 21 years ago. And we had a backer for our company, but the backer pulled out. We had absolutely no money. And I'm the John Paul in John Paul Mitchell Systems. There was a Mitchell. And he was a hairstylist. I was a businessman. He was a great hairstylist. But I didn't do hair. He didn't do business. We never, ever had an argument. There was nothing to argue about. It was real easy. But we had no money. and times were tough. Well, how in the world can you take $700 between two guys and all of a sudden start a major company, let alone in the professional beauty industry or any industry, and make it with no money? Well, I'm going to show you how to do it tonight. Now, I know you don't have a textbook situation here where you have pencils and papers to write down, but I do know with the grace of Mr. Mike Barber and his organization, they are filming this, and I believe they're going to make a video available in your chapel or your library so you can always review all these things. I'm going to make it as simple as possible. First of all, I needed an office. I had to have an office. I had no money. Your office today will cost you $39.95. If you go to a discount place, it's going to probably cost you $29 or $19. Here's how you get an office. You buy an answering machine. You don't put your voice on it. I found a young lady that was a friend. She was from England. She had an English voice. She went on the answering machine, and she would go on the answering machine and say, "Hello, this is John Paul Mitchell Systems," in her British accent, and she would continue to say, "I'm sorry, we're all out right now. Things are really booming, but if you'll leave a message, when we get back, we'll get with you." Wow, we look like we were big, huge. I didn't have a place to live. I lived in the back of my car the first couple weeks, so a friend loaned me their telephone line. Today, if you do get a telephone line, get the cheapest telephone line. It's just called a telephone line. And you can, just a cheap one. No fancy stuff, no call waiting. You don't want call waiting, because if your line's busy, it looks like you're really busy, okay? So if your line's busy, it's okay. But get a normal telephone line, costs very, very little. Plug in your answering machine to it, and you have an office. Now, what if you communicate with someone other than by telephone? Well, while you're here, you've got a little time to spend. Some of you have days. Some of you may have a couple years to contemplate this and put a real business together here. While you have an opportunity, by hand, you can design your own stationery. You could go into a computer, or when you get out, you could go to all these little office places. They have these little office places all over the place. With computers, you could walk in and say, "I want to buy 20 sheets of paper." Fine. That nice paper you picked out is 4 cents a page. Okay, that costs you $4. Then you say, "I'd like to, please, on your computer, set up my logo, Mary's anything company, Mary's service company," whatever it might be. They could set it up with graphics on the computer. And you need an office location. Get a post office box. That's what I did. In those days, it cost me $13 a month. And I got it in Universal City, California. So it was John Paul Mitchell Systems, P.O. Box 13527, Universal City, California. That was the address. It was a P.O. box. I was in business. I made my first stationery. In those days, we typed it all out. I went to a print shop, and for an extra $5, they put some fancy lettering and made me one page and handed it to me. Then I went and made photocopies. Broop, 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 broop. I now had stationery. I now had stationery. You're going to need an invoice. No matter what you sell, you're going to have to sell something. And you're going to have to give somebody a bill. How do you make an invoice? You take one of your pieces of stationery, and on one side, you write the product or service you have. In the middle, what the individual cost is, and on the end, what the total is. That's your invoicing system. All you do is write your invoice, make another photocopy for yourself when you send it to somebody. A lot of people say, "Well, this is all great, but how do you get any business together, whether it's service or whether it's a physical product, without having to have a lot of money to do it, and then when you ship it out, you got to wait to get all that money back, 30 days, 45 days. How in the world do you stay in business?" Well, we had that problem too. And the way we overcame that problem was this. In the industry we were in, our distributors, for example, got so much of a discount. We made our products, we could give them another 5% discount. And we told them if they paid their bill in less than 10 days, and the first few months immediately, we would give them an extra 5% discount. We worked it into our price. If we wanted to sell something for $1, we sold it for $1.05. So we had the 5% built in. For most people, 5% a month, every month for 12 months, that's 60% a year. That's a pretty good discount. We got our money immediately. That was very important to us because we couldn't exist unless we did this. When we went out there to find a product, whether it's a product you want to introduce or whether it's a service. Hey, I don't have a product, but I have a great service. I'm the best window washer in the world. I'm the best seamstress in the world. Alterations. You know, I've been reading while I was incarcerated about the beauty industry. I've been reading about belts. I've been making this or that. And if enough people knew the kind of crafts I made while incarcerated and how good I could make them, they'd be buying them from me. They truly, truly would. They'd be buying them from me here. No matter what you do, whether it's a service you want to sell or whether it's a product, number one, it must be the best quality there is, or you're not going to be successful without any money. Whatever you do must be the best of quality. It has to be the best of quality. And you must service one particular group of people. Our product was hair care. And we decided to sell only through beauty salons, where they would use our product, see how good it was, and recommend to their customer what Paul Mitchell products to use to make their customer's hair look the best in between visits. Because you ladies know, those that have been to a beauty salon, and most of you have, when you go to a salon, it's wonderful, but 2 or 3 days later, it doesn't look the same. Well, if you can make that hairstyle look the same in between your monthly or bi-monthly visits, that's wonderful. We develop products, and I'll tell you how we did that too without any money, so that people's hair looked better in between seeing a stylist. The stylist would show them how to use it in between visits. And then we promised the beauty industry that if you support us and buy our product, we will always stay in the professional beauty industry forever, no matter what. We won't build it up in the beauty industry and then all of a sudden take the Paul Mitchell name to all the retail stores. We would never, ever do that. We'd be loyal to you. We'd have a quality product. So we had the right idea. We had the right focus. We had the right intention. But how in the world do you get a product going without any money? And if you get out of incarceration, how do you live? How do you feed yourself without a lot of money while you're starting your company and trying to get it going and trying to keep yourself alive without resorting to crime or a quick dollar and all of a sudden risk the chance of being busted and sent right back in here again? How do you do these things? Well, I'm going to tell you how to live off $2.50 a day. I'll tell you that in just 1 minute here. But let me just stay in line with the quality product. Here's how I made the Paul Mitchell products, okay? We only had 3 products to begin with. We had a shampoo for normal to color treated or fine hair, a shampoo for normal to thick or oily hair, and a leave-in conditioner, a conditioner you could leave in your hair. Those were our first 3 products. We invented sculpting lotion 4 or 5 months later. Here's what I did. I looked proper, I got dressed, I even wore a tie, a suit and tie. Don't wear a tie these days, but I wore a shirt and a tie. I looked really proper. And I went to these various laboratories and I said, I'm starting this major company. I'd like to get your pricing. I didn't lie, but I said I'd like to get your pricing on 10,000 pieces, 50,000 pieces, 100,000 pieces, and 500,000 pieces run in your laboratory at one time. Here's the formulation I want to come up with. And I gave them roughly what I wanted the product to do. I said, if you will work with me on this, I will give you my business. We'll go into business together here. They thought, wow, what an opportunity. He's asking for prices for 10, 50, 100, 250,000, 500,000 bottles. This has an opportunity. He believes in himself. He believes this is going to be big. They gave me all the prices of what it would be. Then I told them what I wanted to do, and I went to friends of mine, and I said, can you give me an idea, Dr. Ron DeSalvo, of what moisturizer I need to put in my conditioner so I could leave it in the hair, and it takes care of the scalp, the hair, and your hands, and builds the hair at the same time? Can you tell me, Dr. DeSalvo, or Bill at the laboratory, what ingredients do I need in a shampoo? So this is called a different twist. You all see on the back of a label, shampoo your hair twice. Do it, rinse, repeat if necessary. So our thing was, you don't have to do this. What a ripoff. One shampoo. That's all I have to do. All we did was tell the truth. Is with our shampoo, you only need one shampoo. And by the way, that's the truth with most shampoos, okay? You only need one shampoo. So, but what are the best ingredients? So my shampoo will be better than anybody's shampoo on the market today. It must be the best. They helped me formulate it. Now I had the formulation for a shampoo, another shampoo, and a conditioner, and all the prices lined up. I then went to the bottle maker. How much, Mr. Bottle Maker, is, at that time I was so excited I forgot about the 10,000. How much is 50,000, 100,000, $250,000, 500,000 pieces? They would give me a price. I would take the bottle to what's called a silk screener. Someone who puts a label on for you. They silk screen it on. And ask them, what does it cost? And I was really excited now. 100,000 pieces, $250,000. I was in outer space. I was so excited. I was getting $500,000 coming in. We were starting our company. And they told me. So all the prices were lined up. The formulation was lined up. And all of a sudden, this particular day, something happened in my life. And I won't go into it with you right now. We don't have the time. Where all of a sudden, I was without a home, without any money. But I didn't care. Because we had $500,000 arriving that day. My partner was there, and hallelujah, we were so excited. Oh boy, the gods are behind us. Everyone's going in our favor. Then we get the phone call. I'm sorry, I changed my mind. I changed my mind because the United States of America has over 400 hostages in Iran. They haven't turned them loose. It's now January and February of the year 1980. Inflation in the United States is 20%. Interest rates are 12%. I'm sorry, I'm not going to do it. There we sat with little money in our pockets. I had to borrow my $350. My partner, he had $350, and he was just about out on his luck in his life too. He had a place to live. I had the back seat of my car. But you know what? In life, if you realize that in order to get to this life you're in right now, when your parents made it, only one of those eggs, one of those sperms, only one in millions made it. The fact that you lived and you came out is a miracle in itself. The fact that you could feel, see, breathe, regardless of your circumstances, and I do not come from a prosperous background at all, gives you an edge. It gives you life. If you believe in yourself and you have life, and you know that you can do what anyone else can do if you knew just how to do it, and you had that confidence, you will succeed, and you will have enough confidence to let others know that. But you gotta believe in yourself first. No matter what's happened in your life, no matter what has happened in your life, no matter what economical situation you're in, no matter how you're brought up, or no matter what society has thrown at you that's unjust, if you know you're gonna overcome it all, you now got that chance. Well, that feeling was there, and we said, what the heck, let's do it. So here's what happened. I called up the bottle man first for the empty bottles, and I said, I'd like to have a sample order, I was a little humble now, of only 10,000 bottles. Could you please ship them the silk screeners? Pray, please do it. He said, sure, and we'll give you 30-day billing. Oh my goodness, I got the bottles. I was so excited. I called the silk screener, proud and just crossing the fingers there. I have a sample run. Oh, sorry, I said it like this. I have a sample run of only 10,000 bottles coming. Would you please screen 3,000 shampoo 1, 3,000 shampoo 2, and 6,000 bottles of the conditioner? He said, sure. I said, I have 30-day billing set up with the laboratory. Instead of 45-day, I'm going to give you only 30-day billing too. Would that be okay? Sure. Silk screener gave you 30. 30 is wonderful. Better than 45. Did the same thing at the laboratory that was mixing it up together. The only person that wouldn't take anything was the guy who made the artwork. By the way, the reason Paul Mitchell products were black and white only, we couldn't afford color. We couldn't afford it. To get the silk screen, to get the silk screening done and the artwork done in color was $4,000 or $5,000. To get all 3 pieces in black and white was only $1,000, and the screening was only 2 or 3 cents a pass, not 7 cents a pass. We couldn't afford it. So we went to the art guy and said, we'll pay you in 30 days. He goes, nope, I want the money right now, okay, or you can't have it. So I got honest. If everything else fails, be honest. Really, scamming, BSing people sometimes will work some of the time, but when it comes down to getting something done long range, it's going to kill you in the long run. Okay, honesty is going to pull you out. So I said, look, man, here's the scene. I got the bottles, got everything lined up here, but our investor pulled out. We have $700. That's it. He says, I hate to be a bad guy, but I'll take the $700, okay? It's $300 less than I want, so we gave him the $700. All we had was extra money on our salary. My partner had a little more than I did, but I had just a pocket full of change. Before I tell you how I sold my product, I'm going to tell you now how I lived and existed. The backseat of my car was my home for the first 2 weeks I was in business. Thankfully, a young lady named Joanna Pettit one day knocked on my window on the street and said, John Paul, I heard you were living in the back of your car. I have a room in my house I could loan you for a couple of months at no rent. Come on, no strings attached, man. Let me give you a helping hand. And a wonderful woman, okay? Wonderful woman. But still, those first 2 weeks, I had the backseat of my car. Well, amazing how resourceful you get. My shower, my bathroom, was Griffith Park tennis court showers. All cities have city parks. And where there's recreation areas, there's showers, and they're free. And a lot of people leave their soap or shampoo there. Use it. It's free. It is free. No charge. That's my bath, my shower, everything. Griffith Park. Oh, boy, did I love that place. I was clean. You know, it's great. Now, how do you eat? Oh, eating's a bigger thing. How do you eat? You could still do this today. I checked it out before I came to visit you. This was 21 years ago. And it's amazing, nothing's changed. When you go by the freeway or by the highway or in the middle of some of the big cities of our nation or even some of the small cities, most of the restaurants have, the smaller ones, real small ones, especially by truck areas, a 99-cent breakfast special. They give you 1 egg, 1 piece of toast, a little bit of potatoes, a cup of coffee, and either 1 piece of bacon, 1 sausage, or 1 little piece of ham. You order that around 10 o'clock in the morning, a little closer to lunch, and you eat it all. You eat all the jam. You eat everything. It's amazing. That's brunch. Got brunch, breakfast, lunch together. Now, how about dinner? So I spent 99 cents, and I still have $1.50 left. Well, I didn't have a lot of money, but I was generous. I took care of the people. They got a 20-cent tip. They got a 20% tip, but that's still 20%. I was a big tipper, 20 cents, but it represented 20%. So now I have left, what? About a little over $1.25. How am I going to get dinner? I couldn't drink because I couldn't afford it, but every major chain of restaurants, almost in the United States, has something called happy hour. To get the drinkers in, before 6 o'clock, from 4:30 to 5:30, it's called happy hour. Any drink you want, anything you want, for 99 cents, right? If you're drinking booze, it's the worst stuff there is that they give you. So you don't want to drink booze. It's going to rot your gut because it's the worst there is. So don't touch that. That Coke may cost you 99 cents. Everything's 99 cents. But go ahead and get it. Get that Coke. And if you want, give the waitress a 25-cent tip and say, I'm down and out. But look, I'm buying a Coke for 99 cents, and I'm going to give you a 25% tip. Here's 25 cents. And what do they have during these happy hours? Appetizers, munchies. Do you know how full you get? How full you get on 20 chicken wings? Do you know how full and satisfied you get on 15 mini tostadas? Do you know how nourishing going 20 times back to the dip, the salsa dip is? And those mushroom caps, you can't eat enough of them. And check out a few places. I checked out a few in Los Angeles and, oh, this one had this stuff, so I had a different diet. I ate. I did it early enough so it took care of the late afternoon munchies and it took care of me into the night. And by the second night, the girls said, hey, you know what, John Paul? God bless you. You know, you're going in the right direction here. And they'd hand me a couple extra tortillas or a little something. They would just, it's just a nice thing. They didn't have to. I didn't need it to exist, but it did happen. Now, you have a product or a service. No matter how you made it, whether it's your service of sewing, of cooking, no matter what it is, you have a product and you have a service. How do you get people to buy it from you? Going to teach you two. I had no money for advertising. Remember, we were broke. I'm going to teach you two words. Feature and benefit. Feature and benefit. Whatever you make, see what the feature is and tell someone what the feature is and how it benefits them. For example, I am a seamstress. I can alter clothes better than anyone's ever altered clothes for you. Or I can sew stuff together better than anyone ever has, okay? Now, how does that's the feature. I could sew better than anybody else. The benefit is the clothes that I'm going to alter for you or that I'm going to make for you will all look tailor-made, and you'll look like you have something on that's 3 or 4 times more expensive. I am the best window washing person in the world. I have a window washing service I'm starting. Now, what I do is this. I don't just go through your windows. I start in the upper corner, by the corner on top, and I go straight down and get every piece of that window. And when I'm done, I go inside and outside until it's perfect. And that's why I'm the best there is. And you may have people coming by doing your windows right now, but no one will do it as good as I will. And by the way, when I'm done, your whole place will look a lot better because of what I did and the care I take. Your whole building will look better. A feature and a benefit. You give them the features and benefits. So here's what I did. I filled my car with shampoo and conditioner. Now remember, I got the bottle person to go to the silk screening person, to go to the filling house, and then all of a sudden it was in my hands. By the time I got the shampoo and conditioner in my hands, it was 2 weeks after I picked up the phone and ordered the bottles. He gave me 30 days to pay the bill. I only had 2 weeks left. That was it. I filled my car full of products, and I went driving door to door, beauty salon to beauty salon. I went and asked for the owner. I showed her the features and the benefits of my product and asked them if they would try out only a dozen each. And they would say, well, no, not really. It's a new product. Come back some other time. So I would tell them this. I'll tell you what I'll do. I am so convinced that you're going to love this new product that if you will agree to only take 3 bottles each, 3 shampoo 1, 3 shampoo 2, 3 the conditioner, you're going to like it so much that if you're not totally happy, I'll come back in 2 weeks and I will give you your money back, or I will work here and sweep the floors in your salon until I've paid you back. Now that's fair enough, isn't it? Okay. You look them in the eye and you nod your head. Now that's fair enough, isn't it? You're as honest as you could possibly ever be. And you're giving them a reason to buy it. They would give me the money or a check. I would go and get, and by the way, not every salon said yes. I probably got 1 out of every 5. The other 4 said no, come back later, or get out of here, okay? Maybe 1 in 5 said yes. I finally got 12 people to buy from me. I then went to a distributor and said, how would you like to be the distributor for the new Paul Mitchell line? Okay, I said, are you crazy? I have all these big lines, Redken, I have, my God, Matrix, I have, Jeramac at that time. We have Revlon, we have all these big, huge corporations that we represent, or why do I want your little line? I said, because I have your first 12 customers, and I handed them to him, and the checks. He goes, wow, that's pretty good. I said, and I'll go riding around with your salesperson and help them sell this product. He said, it's a deal. I said, the only thing I need is the check in advance. If you'd buy $1,000 worth of my products, I need the check right now, and I'll give you an extra 5% discount. He goes, it was done. Now, how do you sell to people? A lot of you thought, hey, I can't do that. I can't go walk in front of somebody, and I don't have that confidence to tell somebody the story. I'm going to tell you the secret to selling and talking to people, okay? And try it while you're here, by the way. You've got a little bit of time on your hands, don't you? Okay, I mean, if you do, a few days, few years, whatever. Try it among one another. First rule, always look someone in the eye. Now, sometimes it's hard to look someone in the eye. Where do you look? Do you feel uncomfortable? Look them right between the eye. No, really. If you look somebody between the eyes, it looks like you're looking them in the eye. It really does. Or look at their eyebrows. It looks like you're looking them in the eye. Don't look away. If I'm talking to you and I look away while I'm talking to you, I don't have your attention. You've got to look them in the eye. Also, if they talk, this is a very important thing, and there's no other way for you to remember this other than the way I'm going to tell you. Somebody told me this, and this was the best way you could ever remember it. Now, I'm going to go to extremes a little bit on this one, but I hope you're going to remember it. If you talk to somebody and they start talking and you're not done talking yet, but they started, shut up! Shut up! Don't say another word. And the reason you don't is because there's no other way to make it. It's still, whoa, he said the word shut up. Woo. The reason I'm doing it this way is because I want you to remember, the minute, even if you're not done talking, they start talking and you keep on rambling on, they're not going to hear a word you said. When you're talking, you can't hear the other person. So just don't say a word. Wait till they're done. Listen to them if you can. You know what you're going to say because you memorized it. So you're not going to lose your place. Listen to what they have to say. And when they're done, you say your part. One, it's courteous, and number two, that's how people communicate with one another. Also, if you have a service and you're showing somebody a service, when you show them your service on a piece of paper, hold that piece of paper as if it were a $1 million bill with pride. If you're holding a bottle or a product, don't say, this is great. Go, this is great. Hold it as if it were a gem that you're showing to somebody. In other words, it adds more value to it. What did we do to make a lot of value? I went out and spent $1 in a remnant shop where they had remnants of material. For $1, I got to buy 1 perfectly cut square foot of purple velvet. 1 square foot out of a remnant shop, okay? Went in there, I set my piece of velvet down, I put my products on top of it. It just made it look a heck of a lot nicer. When you ask somebody a question, do you want to buy? Do it in such a way where they feel your sincerity. That would be okay, wouldn't it? Look them in the eye and nod your head. That would be okay, wouldn't it? Or, well, I don't know. Well, would you prefer 3 of each, or would you just like to try out only 1 of each? Which should you prefer, 3 of each or 1 of each? Give them a choice. Then instead of yes or no, it's 3 or 1. It's one of the two, 3 or 1, okay? Also, I'd like you to eliminate, if possible, out of your vocabulary as much as possible, the word problem. I had a problem, that's why I'm here. I made a mistake, my fault, there was a problem, I'm here. My problem is I'm here and I want to get out of here. In business, I'm going to give you a much more powerful word to use, and it's very good in business, on any service you want people to know about. And that word is challenge. I had a real challenge, but I overcame it. Hey, I was strung out on drugs. I am an addict. It was a challenge for me, but I've overcome that challenge. I've been mean in my life. That was a challenge, but I overcame my challenge. That was a challenge. I overcame it. As your business grows, as your business becomes something of value, as your business becomes something that all of a sudden now you got to bring on an employee. For a lot of you, this is going to be fact. And for those that this will be fact with, hopefully, I'm telling you it right now, you'll never forget it. When you start hiring people to work with you, treat them exactly like you want to be treated. Exactly like you want to be treated. Earlier, I was in the Hughes maximum security prison. Mike Barber took me in there, and while we were in there, I noticed on the wall of their chapel, it said, do unto others as you would have others do unto you. Okay, by the way, that's my religion. Do unto others as you would have others do unto you. That is really what it's all about. Do unto others as you would have others do unto you. As I progressed, everyone that worked for me was treated the way I wished I could be treated when I worked for somebody else. I wished I could. As soon as we had enough money, everybody, in fact, everybody today at John Paul Mitchell Systems gets free lunch. No one pays for lunch. It's all free lunch. If you carpool, I pay for your gasoline. And there's no free lunch, okay? I mean, there's all free lunch here at our place. People say there's no free lunch. We're take care of people. At John Paul Mitchell Systems, for our size, we should have over 1,000 employees. We have 100 worldwide. That's it. And we're big. We're a big company. Very, very big. But all of our people make more money than anybody else in their same job in the beauty industry. They get paid more money. I take care of them the way I want them to take care of me. I make sure that money's not only given to them now, but it's put away when they want to retire, so they'll be very well off when they want to retire. We take care of them now, and we take care of them in the future. You should do exactly the same. Exactly the same as what you should do, because it's good. I want to tell you something else also. While I'm talking, and I'm going to go into questions and answers, but while I'm talking to you folks, I know some of you are saying to yourselves, you know, I really don't want to start my own business, but if I got out and I don't want to start my own business, is there any other opportunity for me? When I leave here, I don't know anybody. I don't know anyone. I'm going to leave with a few dollars in my pocket, not very much at all, and I'm going to go out into a world that I haven't been in a little while. What other possibilities are there for me? Some of you are felons. You have a felony on your record. What can we do? Okay? Oh, all of you. Okay, well then, boy, have I done the right research today. I've heard a lot of felons, some are misdemeanor. Okay, well, that's, believe it or not, that's even better. Okay? Because now every one of you can be into what I'm about to say. I've already checked this out for you. If you want to enter the beauty industry, and first of all, become a top-notch cosmetologist, a color expert, anything in that area, okay? I've already done my homework on this one. Even if you're a felon, okay? Doesn't count in this industry. There are grants available for you for your entire tuition. There are other grants available for you for part tuition, part loan, but you pay that loan back when you go to work for somebody else. If you go out and decide to go in the cosmetology area, and you go to one of there'll probably be about 100 to 120 Paul Mitchell signature schools in the United States. If you go to one of them and you graduate from a Paul Mitchell signature school, I personally can guarantee you there'll be no less than 3 jobs waiting for you. No less than 3. 3 jobs waiting for you. There's 3. Some of my biggest chain accounts need thousands of qualified hairstylists, those more important that have gone to a Paul Mitchell signature school. Because has anyone here ever been to beauty school? Raise your hand if you can. Very good. A lot of beauty schools teach somebody how to pass the state board exam. Not all of them, but a lot of them do. I'm sure a lot of you can relate to it. You get out, you have no clientele. How do I build my clientele? How do I build a business? How do I go into business one day for myself? At the Paul Mitchell signature schools, they teach you how to be successful as a business person, as well as how to pass a state board exam and how to be a master stylist. So if those of you have tried cosmetology, want to try it again, don't give up, or just go to a Paul Mitchell seminar for a fresher up course. We offer free of charge at John Paul Mitchell Systems associate training classes to bring people up to speed on if they wanted to teach others how to walk, how to talk, how to present things to people, how to show people how to sculpt hair and so forth. Now, to get back to business, I had no advertising money for John Paul Mitchell Systems. It was all word of mouth. We almost went bankrupt. Every single week for the first 2 years, we almost went bankrupt. Totally bankrupt. Somehow we held on. And it was so good and people loved it. All of a sudden we took off and we became the fastest growing company in the United States of America in the professional beauty industry. It was unreal. Now, here's the turnaround. Here's the turnaround. I want you all to relate to this. Why did I get such a lousy break in life, or why did I screw up so bad and all of a sudden I'm in here listening to him instead of out there doing it myself? Why was I dealt that hand? Why in life didn't I feel a presence of God until ministers come in here and talk to me? Well, why? Why are these things happening? If I wasn't fired from Redken Laboratories after working for them from 1971 to 1975, I would have never known part of what it took me to start my own business. If I wasn't fired from a company called Firmadel because I wasn't the right ethnic or religious group, I wouldn't have had that knowledge to be in business today. If I wasn't fired from another company, the Institute of Trichology, because they got someone to do the same job I did, and I tripled their sales, by the way. Someone to do the same job I did for 1/3 the money, I would have never gotten the knowledge I had to start my own business. What I'm trying to tell you is, all the misfortune sometimes we have in life is a blessing, because it's things we need to know to get us to the next step. Now you're saying, John Paul, that's easier for you to say. You're white and you're not in prison. Some of you may think that, okay? Some of you. In case you do, during the Watts riot, I was incarcerated with another black man. He and I thought, hey, we're cool, we're in our 20s. There's a riot going down in Watts. So you're black, I'm white. We're gonna cruise down the middle of Watts, see this riot going on. I'm white, you're black, no one's gonna get us, right? Whoa, we were pulled over so fast. And we were thrown in jail. And it's one of the stories saying, but we didn't rob or kill anybody. Oh, yes, attempted. I mean, the suspicion of everything in the world. To make a long story short, they let us go the next day, all right? But I spent the night in jail. And I was in a holding cell with 50 people. I was the only white person in that cell. 50 people. At 4 o'clock in the morning, the marshals came and said, oh my God, Dejoria, is there a Dejoria here? Yeah, me. They brought me out. They said, we're so sorry, you okay? I said, yeah, I'm fine. Why? I don't want to be in here. Are you here to let me out? Well, no. But we're here to move you cells. I said, why? They said, well, you're in here with a bunch of rioters. I said, you got to be joking. I passed the night with a bunch of friends in here. They're all new friends. But they're riding out there. I said, no. They're protesting, but in a different way. They're protesting, but in a different way. In other words, life is amazing. Some people have a little browner tans, some have a little darker tans than I do. But the world has been made up of many people. Unfortunately, in life, we think we were dealt the bad hand for one reason or another, and sometimes we get into trouble. If I got caught for some of the things I did as a kid, I'd be in here too. But of course, the guy's prison, okay? Okay? In many cases, I did some naughty things in my life. I mean, I rode with some pretty fierce bikers when I was in my 20s. You may know them as the Satan Slaves and Hell's Angels, okay? I was in a street gang. I was in a little kids gang when I was 5 years old. We didn't do much. We had our little gang, right? But we had push-button knives. You know, we were a gang. Great kind of the world, okay? But in time, all of a sudden things start happening in your life that makes things go right. And as soon as things start going right in your life, you look back on all the bad days, the challenging days, the unfortunate days. But sometimes you can't see they were wrong until things start going right. You justify sometimes all the wrong that was done. You justify because you are where you are. It's not your fault, it's their fault. Not my fault. I'm a product of my environment. But when things start going right and you become the cause over your life, not the effect of someone else, the cause over your life, it's amazing how the world turns. Before I get into questions and answers, I'd like to tell you a little story of something that took place in 1965. I just got out of the Navy and I was selling encyclopedias door to door. And I was a pretty good encyclopedia salesman. I'd knock on the door. You weren't expecting me, so I'd come in and say, hi, my name is John Paul Dejoria. I use Johnny D for short. Hi, I'm Johnny D, and I'm bringing this new educational program into your area. I had a briefcase in my hand, and I wanted to tell you about it. Do you mind if I step in? Slam. Hi, I'm Johnny D. I've got a new educational program I'm bringing into this area. Do you mind if I step in? Slam. Next door? Yeah, come on in. We'll talk to you a little bit. Thank you. All of a sudden, bindings red and blue would come out of my briefcase. This is the new Collier's Junior Classics. Here's why it's great. I would sell encyclopedias. It was a tough way, commission only. Commission only. Average person lasted 2 weeks and you were gone. I lasted 4 years, made a pretty good living. But there was a guy there named BJ. And I want to tell you a story about BJ, which can relate to every single person in here. BJ was very successful. He did a lot of things that other people didn't want to do. He didn't have to work on Saturdays, but he came into the office on Saturday, and he would dump his own trash can. He'd do his work, and he would go and dump his own trash can. He would do it at Spring Street and 7th in downtown LA, where there were restaurants. He'd dump his trash behind the restaurant. Now, on Saturdays, nobody came in. He wasn't shaven. This was the mid-'60s. He'd wear cut-up, tie-dyed clothes. That was a fashion. He didn't look like he was a regional manager in those days, by the way, making $150,000 a year. It's like making $1 million today in 1965. Unreal. BJ was young, in his late 20s. He was dumping the trash, as he always did. And coming down the alleyway, it's about 2 blocks, by the way, from Skid Row, or 2 streets over from Skid Row, the office is. Coming down the alleyway was this wino. And he was happy. He was just, BJ put sail away, barely making it, you know, and he was obviously just smelling of all kinds of cheap wine, and, or maybe Sterno, I don't know, whatever he did. But anyways, BJ said, so BJ was dumping trash, his trash can in there, and this guy walked behind him and said, in his drunken way, sir, as BJ said, excuse me, sir, could barely talk, he's too drunk. He said, you don't have to go in that trash can to get food. Because, see, in those days, you're 2 blocks from Skid Row and the Mission, people would come over, and homeless people would go in the trash cans to get their food. You know, they do that. You go and you get your food. Because there's a lot of good stuff restaurants throw out. He thought he was in there reaching for food. He was hungry. This man pulled out of his pocket a dime. 1 dime. This is 1965, and said, sir, you take this dime, you go to the donut shop, you get a donut and a cup of coffee, and that's on me. And this guy was destitute. BJ, one of the most successful men of the day, is blown away. He's watching this guy barely make it down the alley. Now, you would think, hey, man, you're so successful. BJ, you grab that guy and say, hey, come here, come here. Here's $500, man. Go get yourself a room, have a good life. BJ didn't do it. He was just amazed. This guy was enthusiastic, even though he was drunk, okay? He was about to die. You could tell just by the way he looked. He drank way too much in his life. He's ready to die. His life had passed him. But BJ says, wait a minute. The guy's generous like I am. He's smiling. He's enthusiastic. He's happy. He says, this must be some message from God. Why is he destitute walking down that alley, and you may not see him after tomorrow? He could be dead. What is that message? BJ went back to his office and spent the whole morning writing and writing and writing and writing, figuring there's got to be some message. He's too much like me. This has got to be a message from God or something. It's got to be something big. When he was done, he came up with 1 sentence. That 1 sentence was so powerful, I believe it was published in a newspaper called the Wall Street Journal. The sentence was this. Remember, the guy was as enthusiastic as BJ, happy-go-lucky like BJ, but totally destitute and about to die. The sentence was this: there but for me go I. There but for me go I. If it wasn't for what BJ Wright decided to do with his life, and he came from a poor family in Kentucky, if it wasn't for BJ Wright deciding what to do in his life and what course to take, that would be BJ Wright. There but for me go I. In life we make decisions. Sometimes they're good, sometimes they're not so good. We make decisions, we have challenges. The only difference, in concluding, the only difference between successful people, I don't care where you are, the only difference between successful people and unsuccessful people is that successful people do all the things that unsuccessful people don't want to do. I'm incarcerated. I don't want to spend all my time trying to think of a business or something to get together. Hey, they slammed the door in my face 10 times. I'm not going to knock on the next one. No one likes my product. No one likes me. It's not they didn't like you. They just didn't like the presentation they were hearing. You go on to somebody else. The only difference between successful people and unsuccessful people is successful people do all the things that unsuccessful people don't want to do. That's the only difference. You have the choice, okay? Now, I will gladly, very gladly, and I think we have an extra microphone, answer any questions you might have dealing with anything. But yes, ma'am, back there. A brilliant question. Let me repeat this so you all hear it. Brilliant question. Wow. I have a great idea for making a lot of money for a big corporation, for a big company. And how do I do this? Do I start a little one, then all of a sudden, sell it to a big one? There's two ways to do it. First of all, if your idea is patentable, if it's something that's brand new and a total different thing that's patentable, you patent it. And if you could patent something like, a gadget you make, whatever it might be, if you could patent something physically, and you could patent it or a technology, you own it. If it's that good, you could walk to the head of a corporation and say, excuse me, but I have a new idea that will revolutionize you. You won't end up talking to the chairman of the board usually, but if you talk to, here's the way to look at things differently, look at different ways to do things. If you have a great idea, you can't get to the chairman, get to one of the salesmen. You could always talk to a salesman, find a salesman and say, excuse me, but I have this idea that could revolutionize your company. You're a salesperson. You sell things for this company. Here's my idea. I own it. It's patentable. How would you like to be the person that brought me to the chairman of the board or the president to hear this idea? What do you think? And it's very easy for someone to say, of course, I have nothing to lose. Mr. President's office, at least hear this idea. Maybe you have something that is not patentable. It's just an idea. But if you put it into effect, it could work good. Start a very small company. Once you have it going, then go to an honorable CEO. And there's a lot of honorable presidents and chief executive officers out there, a lot of very, very honorable people. If you ever get to the point where you start a business and you have a little business going and you would like to know what CEO or president to be able to show this to, write me and tell me what it is. My name is John Paul Dejoria, John Paul Mitchell Systems. Even though I spend a lot of our time here in Texas, we do spend time in California, but our home offices are located in Beverly Hills, California, John Paul Mitchell Systems. And I will take the time out of my life to direct you who to send that to, okay? But start that business first. Don't just come up with it. Start a little business first. Get it going. Do something yourself first, so it's what your product is, what you've actually created. That's coming, not just written ideas, because we get those all day long, and we have a department that kind of channels them the other way. But you get something started, you get it to me, and put in your letter, John Paul, you spoke to me this 26th day or 27th, what is it, 28th? This 28th day of April 2001, okay? I was there, and you said to do that, and I will do that. Any other questions? Sorry, I'll come right back to you. Yes.
We have about 10 minutes left, okay?
10 minutes of questions left.
Uh-huh. So,
well, let me go to this lady here then. Who? Right there. Yes, ma'am.
Do you know of any salons in Dallas, beauty schools in Dallas that are John Paul Mitchell certified?
Do we know any beauty schools in Dallas? Because of the size of our company, off the top of my head, I can't. But here's how you find out. Walk into any beauty salon anywhere in the state of Texas and say, who's the Paul Mitchell distributor? They'll tell you there's only one per area. They'll tell you exactly who it is. Call them up and say, is there a Paul Mitchell signature school in the area? It's that simple. And they'll tell you. Let me go over here, then I'll come back. There was, oh, yes, please. Yes, ma'am. If I understand this correctly, a group of you want to start a company that does welding with the environment in mind, and what would you be welding? In other words, how to take scraps, recycle the scraps, and be productive with the end result. Okay? Very good. Sorry. And a business. Did you all hear that? It was the motivation. Okay, here's how you do it. First of all, you're not creating furniture. You're creating art. All right? So what you just told me, you told me in less than 1 minute, okay? All you got to do on that one is go to any community where they have a ministry, a philanthropy group, the Rotary Club, the Lions Club, any of those. And go, or on yourself, walk down the street and say, hi, my name is. And we create some of the most beautiful art, but it happens to be furniture. It's called, use the word, usable art. We manufacture usable art. It's usable art, okay? And our usable art here, but what you do is don't go to the furniture stores. Go to all the art galleries and the specialty stores. Like specialty for clothes and makeup, go to those type of people, specialty stores, because that's a unique marketing niche. And say, we're just starting out. By the way, we've made some pieces. Can we put them here on consignment? I mean, you don't have to pay a dime. Put them in there. But that's not going to sell it. You got to have a little sheet of paper or a little stand-up card that says, this usable art furniture was made by inmates and children, ex-inmates, whatever, you know, past people that have seen the light, okay, and children. Or this was made with the help of children to keep them off the streets. Give us a break. By using in your life this art, it looks beautiful. It looks beautiful. I'll get you 1 second. This is important. It looks beautiful, and it's going to help you create a better city and a better state for all of us. Please help your city. Be philanthropic. It's not cost you any money. Give us a break. If you're going to buy a piece of art, why not use this? Yes, ma'am. Yeah, that's a brilliant idea. She said, I'd like to sell my product or my idea to a company, and that company in return ask them to give 5% of the money to an organization, whether it's inmates or any organization, to give them a helping hand. That's a brilliant idea, and that would catch the mind of whether any CEO, you mentioned McDonald's, one of them, of course they'd be interested. Who wouldn't be? And if not, they don't deserve to be CEO. If they like the idea, and they use it, and it was your idea, and you're just saying, instead of giving me all the money, give them 5%. That's very, very good. I'll come back. Let me come over here. Yes, ma'am.
I want to know if Paul Mitchell has a website. Why don't you put this on the website so when we get out home, for some of us that have computers, we can go on the website and get some information that'll help us once we get out.
But she wanted to know, does Paul Mitchell have a website? Yes, we do. We certainly do. And can we put this on it's johnpaulmitchellsystems.com or paulmitchell.com. Can we put this on our website so when you get out, you can look at it, all right? Mike Barber and his organization here have made all these cameras available to put it on video film, okay? That you could get now while you're here. If this video film could be put on the website, you will see it on our website, okay? And just for 1 second here. Yes, ma'am. I'll get you next. Hold on 1 second. Let me get her real quick. So her hand's been going up and down like that, but I'm going to get you. Yes. She's interested in interior design, but mostly floral design within a house, right? Very few people are interested in floral design in a home. In other words, you could really captivate a market. How does she get into it with very little money? Off the top of my head, I would say the way she gets into it is she takes a little bit of money, she buys a nice little arrangement of flowers, a really beautiful one, and goes to an area, middle class or above, and go knocking door to door. Hi, my name is, and I make these kind of flower arrangements. I'm just starting out. I'd be willing to do this, to make them for you and put them in your house every single week or every other day, whatever you would like, at less than you could ever buy flowers for yourself. That's how you do it. And then you end up going eventually to the flower mart where you get flowers at 1/10 the price. Let me get this lady and I'll get you right over here, okay? Yes, ma'am.
He got his own club and all this stuff like that. So instead of writing
Definitely. That's a good idea. Good for you. I think you should do that. You should follow through. What you're doing is finding other talent and using that talent with your creative genius. Good for you. Yes, ma'am. You like our shampoo? You're from the Bay Area. All right. Thank you very much. Yes, ma'am. I'll get you next.
Once I get out of here and opening up a shelter or possibly a farm for teenage kids, I live there because I'm an addict and I also have criminal behavior. I want to get kids off the street so that they don't end up in places like this. How can I go about getting the funding to be able to do something like this? I'd like to be able to open up the Belt and Clean Temple area.
First, how do you get the funding? How do you get the funding to open up a center to help kids that need help? I know we're out of time now. This will be the last answer. I'm sorry, but this will be the last answer. All right, we'll get you in that set. You look so, oh, God. Okay, that'll be the last one, all right? The way you do it is this. You start being a volunteer at another center first, and then you help that center branch out. If you want something close by, there's the Blazer House in Austin, Texas, that takes kids off the street, okay? All right, the Blazer House. And that's already funded. Okay, last question, please. Okay, what's my address in Beverly Hills? Let me check with something. Okay, here you go. I'm answering your question. We've already sent down here for everyone here a bottle of Paul Mitchell Avapui shampoo and a bottle of Paul Mitchell detangler. It's here for everybody. It's already been delivered. Okay. And super sculpting lotion. Super sculpting lotion, okay? It's already here. You got sculpting lotion. You can do all kinds of great designs in your hair. Ask the hairdressers, okay? But on the back of every bottle, is my address, okay? Back of every bottle, that's where we're at. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you.